name is Dr. Chinma Nnaji. I'm a legal practitioner here in Lagos. I'm glad to be here. Well, on the issue of the President Muhammad Buhari's tweet that is causing the brouhaha in the social media and in fact across the country and outside the country. I think that content is a little bit odious, just with 1 or 2, 3, 4 words. Ordinarily, it would pass as a general warning that would have been accepted as an attempt to curtail the losses that have been sustained nationally from acts of terrorism, banditry, and outright criminality. But in this particular instance, rather than talk about criminality and terrorism and banditry generally, the president was a little bit more fixated on the issue of Southeast and the IPOB activities, to the extent that he was no longer able to demarcate or differentiate which one is IPOB and which one is Southeast. He lumped this in his in the content of that statement. It came across as if he was talking to the Igbos of the Southeast generally, and the two cannot be the same. IPOB is just a group of young men who say they are agitating for secessionist activities to secede from Nigeria in pursuit of the Biafra, of their dream. Many Igbo people do not agree with the IPOB people, especially in the method they have approached. I mean, they have deployed. And this is very obvious in the public domain. So for the president to have come to the point of lumping everybody together is very, very wrong. And that is why the entire Southeast felt threatened, because with that tweet, it was possible that the president, having had that mindset, could deploy the military to level the entire Southeast, because he would have been seeing the Southeast as the enemy, which is not the case. So I think that is where the real complaint came. The content was very odious in the threat that it issued. Was that particular message, that tweet, was that statement, appeal, or a threat? It was obviously a threat to decimate an ethnic group, a very vibrant ethnic group for that matter, that has carried this country on its head. The Igbos are everywhere in this country, giving expression to this much vaunted patriotism. Everybody is saying that Nigerians should be patriotic. It is Igbos that are demonstrating that patriotism. Many people say that Buhari is slow in acting, is inactive, is sleeping on duty. But I told them Buhari knows what he's doing. He may have some weaknesses, but like the pussycat is tested with a rat, and you see the agility in that pussycat that was pretending to be sleeping. So if you mention anything Igbo, where Buhari is, all his antenna will rise, and his countenance will change in hatred, and which is very wrong. So it is a threat. The content was bad, very odious, for particular reason of that threat. Many Nigerians, Igbos, Hausa, Yoruba, particularly those of the South, with good conscience, were crying when Arise Television was showing live the parents in an agonizing mood. But this president never made, nor even the presidency, never made any single statement in condemnation, nor did it take any steps to to deal with the perpetrators who are very well known. He has never threatened Boko Haram. He never threatened the bandits, popularly known as the killer henchmen. And every day they are harassing every community in Nigeria. And this president had never shown this kind of anger. So why? That's the issue. Why? The Twitter didn't delete the entire tweet. What it did was to edit that tweet, to remove the offensive part of that, which is very, very reasonable. It was a very reasonable step. But because of ego, when you are highly egotistic, you don't know your boundary. Twitter is not a houseboy to the president. So if the Minister of Information and his groups did not know what to have done, they should just eat their cake. How should it have been drafted? The draft should have directed the threat, because when you threaten criminals or those undermining the security and integrity of this country in any manner whatsoever, good citizens will applaud. But you do not have to combine everybody together because of your condign hatred or whatever way you feel about them. No matter how you feel about them, they are citizens. And no citizen of this country should be harassed insofar as he is law-abiding. Otherwise, it makes it too cheap for security agents who should ordinarily be going to Sambisa forest and all the known forests in the north to fish out those who are even flushing themselves down to the southeast. Because it has not even been established beyond reasonable doubt that it is IPOB that's attacking security agencies and institutions. The issue about the suspension of Twitter, in Nigeria, you can see a lot of Nigerians are completely embarrassed by that action. More embarrassed by the explanation offered for that action. Is it legal? Completely unlawful, unconstitutional, and it is illegal. And it is insensitive, to say the least, because Twitter is like any other social media. That's where the young Nigerians live now, doing their businesses, right? Big businesses. Even the president communicating to people were sought to the effect that Trump used Twitter to mobilize his base. And Twitter still acted to some of the offensive ones that he dished out. So if Twitter could do it to the American president, a sitting American president, under whose jurisdiction Twitter is registered, who is the president of Nigeria. And you could even see in the tweet they said they didn't know who Muhammad Buhari was, and they didn't know the country he's leading. Ordinarily, Nigerians should be offended with that kind of statement. But you can see many Nigerians are not bothered because the president called for it. And it may not even have been the president directly. It may have been the people who are handling him. And when they make mistake, they look for people to blame. So the issue is that this suspension is one policy or one decision this government will take and will never attempt it again. Some people are even insinuating that, okay, the government is already being embarrassed, so they are now begging Twitter to apologize. It's like somebody who has wrongly treated his wife, and the wife has just decided not to bring meal, and the man becomes hungry. He says, my wife, just come and tell me that what you did to me was wrong. And the woman looks around and sees that there's no ways that she offended the husband and says, please, I didn't offend you, and putting it into prayers. It's only a matter of time that the man will say, where is that your dinner?